That's a good song for my lesson this morning because I'm going to be talking about consciousness and the three phases of mind. We know that consciousness is the sum total of all our thinking, our actions, our feelings, and our reactions to our environment. That creates our consciousness. And which means that everything we say and everything we think and everything we do becomes like a vibrational holding pattern for us. And so our lives reflect it. And what happens in our lives is always determined by that vibrational holding pattern. And of course, that gives us that holding pattern is like a personal level of consciousness. So everybody's got their own personal level of consciousness. And you can feel it when people walk into the room where their level of consciousness is. And so today I want to talk about the three levels, even though it's really a metaphorical kind of thing, because we know that our mind is not compartmentalized into three areas. It's just a metaphor to look at our mind and understand how it really operates for us. And it operates through three phases: the conscious phase, the unconscious phase, and the superconscious phase. And these three phases are always in operation, which means that everything we think and everything we do is reflected through one of those stages. And so we want everything we say and do to be in alignment with the way we think, with our mind, so that we can be who we are. In other words, we need to express who we are. Sometimes that's not a good thing, because who we are is not exactly what we really would like to be expressing in the world. But as we lift our level of consciousness, all three of those levels start to express through us as a very well-balanced, androgynous person who knows what to do and does it. And these three phases of consciousness, of course, become a stepping stone to help us to understand what's happening. So the conscious phase, you all know that. That's the phase where you think and you speak and you make decisions and you ask questions, and it's the rational phase. That's the phase that goes before us and helps us to make it in the world. When our mind is only based on that rational part, then we miss out on the spiritual part, on the intuitive part, on that wonderful guidance that's willing to come to us all the time. And so our life just becomes really stuck in this existential plane. And it could be good, but it's never really very lasting. The good is not really very lasting, and it doesn't lift you and give you that wonderful sense of knowing that you're not fighting all of life's battles alone, that there is a presence in you that goes before you, making straight your way. And so we want to make sure that all our thought signals are not emitted strictly through the rational mind, because that is why it has been said that in our consumer economy, especially in California, well, no, I take it back. We had quite a consumer economy in South Carolina as well. In our country, we have a consumer economy where people waste precious moments just in this vibrational holding pattern of doing what they hate so that they can have money to buy things they don't need, so they can impress people they don't even like. And then we wonder why depression has really reached absolutely epidemic proportions in our country. Because we've lost that sense of knowing that there's more to us than just that rational mind. Now, the conscious phase of mind is important, especially for those of us who like to learn, so we use that phase to learn things. But what we can do with that phase of mind is to learn good things and to surround ourselves in good energy and to listen to good things and to surround ourselves with vibrational patterns that lift us rather than pull us down. And so the second part, and this is probably a very important part, I think it's more important than the rational or the conscious mind, and that is the subconscious phase of mind. Because the subconscious phase of mind operates through the method of attraction that works like this. our words and our attitudes attract similar words and attitudes that come back to us. So if the words and attitudes are good, they attract good, similar words and attitudes, and we live our lives in a pretty happy place. But if the words that we're saying are not good, the subconscious mind is just sending them back to you anyway. Because the subconscious mind doesn't rationalize, it doesn't question, it doesn't say, oh, no, that's not true. So if I said, you know what, I'm not very bright, the subconscious mind would not say, oh, don't be silly, Julie, you have a PhD, you've got to be very intelligent. No, the subconscious mind says, okay, we will attract people and situations that help you to feel not very bright. And so you start attracting people who say, you know what, she's not so smart. You think she is, she's not so, she's kind of dumb, she's a klutz, she's a this. Because you sent that out there, and your subconscious mind is just going to send to you exactly what you've asked for. That's how the subconscious mind works. It attracts more people and circumstances to give you what you've asked for. So if you were to angry and resentful, and you wear your feelings on your sleeve, and you're always hurt and you're always offended, and you say things like that, the subconscious mind just brings situations and conditions and people into your life that offend you, that make you angry, that really tick you off. And so you're always ticked off and you're always frustrated and you're thinking, why is this happening to me? And I'm here to tell you that you have created it. And so it's just expressing exactly how you've asked for it. If you start saying that you're broke and you have no money and you're poor and you call yourself that, then what happens is the subconscious mind says, okay, I will send situations and conditions that will help you feel broke. It doesn't say to you, oh, don't be silly. You are capable of earning a lot of money. You have a nice job. No, the subconscious mind says, okay, let's send more situations that make you feel broke and poor and miserable. So the subconscious mind is a really important phase of our thinking. And Jesus called the subconscious mind our heart. He says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Because whatever you think in that subconscious phase of mind is what materializes for you. As a child, I have memories because the subconscious mind is where we store all the memories. So you all have memories of your childhood. And I was very lucky because I don't have memories stored in my childhood of teacher abuse. My teachers loved me from kindergarten on. I don't know why, but I was the kind of kid that always had the answer, always had my hand up, and the answer was always right. And the teacher would say, no, Julie, you've already shared enough, put your hand down. So it's wonderful. I mean, some of you had teachers who said, put your hand down, you dumb thing, you don't know anything. Well, that's wrong. Well, those images are in our subconscious mind as well. And so perhaps for me, because I have those wonderful images of the teacher saying, yes, Julie, I like to talk in public. I have no fear of standing in front of you and talking. But if I had teachers that would say, be quiet, what do you know? I probably would have a hard time getting up here and talking to people in a public way. So whatever happened to us as a child is stored there. And we operate through it, believe it or not, even if it happened when you were very, very little. You stored it in your subconscious mind, and every now and then it comes up. Now, the difference is that when it comes up, you could recognize it, and you'd say, that's silly. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to accept that. I'm a very intelligent person. And you let it go, and that's how you start clearing up those old memories that have been stored for so long in your subconscious mind. One of the things that I did store in my subconscious mind was that girls are good in English and boys are good in math. And that was put in there from the very beginning. I remember my teacher saying to me, you're so good in English, focus on that. Don't waste your time on math, that's the guy stuff. And so to this day, I am so impressed with women that are good in math. All you have to do is you're a woman, tell me you're good in math, and I just fall all over you because I'm so impressed. Because that old message that said, girls don't do well at this, only boys do well at this. Or if I have the telephone person comes in and it's a woman, I fall apart. Those women say like, what is her problem? I'm like, oh, I'm so thrilled to see a woman here doing the telephone thing. What? But because I was taught that's a guy thing. Girls don't do that. Girls do, poetry and stuff like that. They don't fix things. And so, think about your subconscious mind and think of some of the things you've got in there that make you do things that seem a little crazy in our society because girls, women and men do everything now. It's not a woman's thing or a man's thing. It's a wonderful time to live. But that's not how it was when I was growing up. Especially in the culture that I grew up in. I grew up in New York City, and my parents really believed that how we looked would determine how the neighbors felt about them. So from the time that as far as I could remember, I had little polished shoes all the time, and always had my hair nicely combed, and always looked, my mother would let me out the door, do not go out looking like that, what will the neighbors think? So those messages are there. So I'm a little prissy, right? Because it came from those messages way deep down inside. And so that's why the subconscious mind is so important to our life. Because as we start to change the messages that are there, and we start to listen to the messages that are there, we start to grow and to change and to become exactly what we want to be. Because the system of attraction works. As a woman thinketh in her heart, so is she. It works without exception every single time. Whatever we focus on, out pictures in our world. And everything that we see is either material or visible or invisible. But the truth is, through quantum physics, we've discovered that everything is pliable. There isn't anything that isn't pliable. Because, everything, even though it looks like energy materialized, like your body or animals or trees or your house or buildings, when viewed under a really highly powered microscope, they all appear like just molecules in motion. So everything is pliable. And if everything is pliable, then you can change it. You can change anything in your life with your thinking. Because your thoughts are the most powerful force in the universe to change our lives. And everything is pliable for us to mold and to change. And of course, last but by no means least, is a superconscious mind. The superconscious mind has many, many names. We've called it the God mind, the Christ mind, Spirit, our source, God within. Name some things that you've called that wonderful superconscious mind in you. What are some of the names you've given it?
Higher self.
Oh, yes. What else?
Divine creator.
Divine creator.
Light.
Buddha mind. There's another name for it. Christ mind, Buddha mind. Okay, we've given it lots of names. Our source. Some people call it our source. But the point is, it doesn't matter what you call it, because a rose by any other name would smell sweet, right? It is a presence in us that responds to our thinking. It is a presence in us, whether you want to call it God mind, our source, Jesus, whatever you want to give the name, it responds to us. And it's there to guide us, to lift us, to help us, to heal us. And it even helps us to reap where we do not sow. And that's called grace. Grace emanates from that part of us that we call that God mind or that superconscious mind. When things happen to you, you think, whoa, what did I ever do to deserve that? That's grace coming right out of that superconscious mind where you think like, I don't deserve that. But grace says, you get even things that you don't deserve. Just imagine if everything you ever said with feeling materialized. You'd be in trouble, right? For you or for the child. Like you said, I was in the supermarket once with this woman in the South, the South is like, no. I love the South. But this woman said, "You stupid jerk," to this kid. And she said it with a lot of feeling. And I said, grace. Thank God for grace. So that child's not going to suck that up. And it's not going to ruin his life or hers. Because when you say it, it hurts you too. But sometimes, you say things and you do things that you don't really mean at the time. And through grace, it doesn't hook you and pull you in and make you pay the karma of it. So, this is why one of my favorite authors, you all know her, the late Imelda Shanklin, wonderful unity minister, one of those unity greats, said, "Through our thoughts, words, and feelings, we carve our destiny in the substance of the universe." Hear that? We carve our destiny in the substance of the universe through our thoughts, through our words, through our feelings, because thoughts become words, and words become feelings. And once that starts to happen in your life, you're carving your destiny. And so if you do not want that kind of vibrational holding pattern that isn't going to bring you the happiness and the joy that you want, all you have to do is be conscious of the fact that you've got a genie in there, the subconscious mind, running out there and doing everything you ask it to do. And you want it to do good things for you because it's willing to do good things for you. And so remember that they're operating through your consciousness and that we are creating our destiny on the substance of the universe. Recently, I saw a vignette about God speaking to a seeker. And it said this: "Your task," said God, "is to build a better world." "But how," replied the seeker, "I am small and weak and powerless." And in his infinite wisdom, God responded, "Just build a better you." And so our affirmation today is thought by thought, word by word, I begin to build a better me. Let's say that together. I'll say it in two parts. Thought by thought and word by word. Let's say that. Thought by thought and word by word, I begin to build a better me. I begin to build a better me.